You don't want to be the person managing money. No, I'm not used to that. Well, that's an okay thing to say, and maybe somebody else will say, okay, I will do that. Okay. Tonight at 5 p.m. I am getting ready to watch the college.
Good.
Good morning, friends. Good to see you all. I am a fill-in. Pastor Mike, unfortunately, has the flu. So I told the people I met with before that he called me an hour ago, which is not true. He called me yesterday morning, and poor guy, he doesn't sound so good. So please keep him in your prayers. It's been a joy to be a part of your congregation for the last 6 months. I don't get to come all the time because I work for the conference office. And so my gig that I was supposed to be at today somewhere else got canceled, and so it was just divine that I got to be here. So great to be here. So for a few announcements, remember that the new member discussion will happen this Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon in room 50. Also remember that the memorial service for Doug Cahart is on Saturday, this Saturday at 2 p.m. Of course, you can send flowers, cards, and condolences to his mother, Nancy Cahart. Also remember that the office will be closed tomorrow in honor of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And yes, Lorelei, come up here and share an announcement.
I just want to give a quick update. Number one, can we all please thank the care team for the amazing job they do supporting all of us, whether we're here, whether we're at home and sick, whether we can't get here, whether we're struggling at home. I mean, we always have this incredible care team that is behind the scenes, letting each of us know what's going on. On that note, Shannon Sullivan, a little update on Shannon. She is on oral chemotherapy. She's tolerating that well. She's had 2 radiation treatments, and so far so good. She'll be on radiation another month or so. Anybody who does want to donate to Shannon's you can either go to the GoFundMe page, or if you would prefer, you can give me a cash or check. If you're going to give me a check for her, it needs to be made out to her boyfriend, Todd Burgess, Burgess. So any week, either me or Chris Masalski will be driving her to radiation and seeing her frequently. Also, the care team has cards outside for Kay Cossey and Shannon and Judy West, and they can give you updates on what's going on with all of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. You'll also want to know tonight is the Elevate Evening Service, which begins at 5 p.m. in the Community Center. I think we have some advertisements if you want to pass them out that are in the lobby. Thank you. And I understand Seth has something to say. Always, right? No, for tonight. You can't do it now. It's tonight at 5. Yes. We're continuing on a series that Pastor Mike has started called Love in Action. And today we're looking at love across boundaries, which hits very close to home in this time that we are finding ourselves in. And it reminded me of a person I just found out about. His name is Bayard Rustin. You've heard of him? Of course you have. I have a dear friend who's a Quaker person who's part of the Quaker religion, and she had shared this story with me, and I was just so moved. I had no idea that Bayard was responsible for organizing the march in Washington, D.C. He had to cross a lot of boundaries, not only because of the color of his skin. He also was a gay man who wasn't, in that time period, always accepted. Probably not accepted by and large. But he crossed that boundary because he believed in justice. He even had some quarrels with Martin Luther King Jr., but he risked it in order to be a person of justice, to live that call of who he had felt called to be. And being a person who loves across boundaries takes a lot of risk. And thank God for people like MLK and Bayard Rustin, because of people like them, because of people like you at St. Francis who are crossing boundaries. It takes risk, it takes energy, there's lots of tears, there's lots of hugs, but with God's help, this is why we do what we do. A few things I just wanted to share with you before we go into our greeting is that we're going to be exploring what are some boundaries that are crossed in the scripture that we find this morning. And at some point in the service, we're going to ask the question, how have you loved across boundaries? And maybe when have you received the love across boundaries? That'll be our question. I think it's during the commentary. And just, I'm pretty laid back, so if I forget, just say, hey, wait a second, you forgot that, okay? I'm not a person who, I should be a little bit more concerned about time and all that, but that's why we have this group up here. Friends, in the 6 months I've been able to be with you, here are some words I want to share with you, because this is how I feel about St. Francis as we lead into the greeting time, but also as the band plays and sings and leads us in the song, All Are Welcome. And this is, remember this, no matter what you believe, no matter the doubts or questions you have, no matter what you're feeling or not feeling today, no matter what the color of skin you have, no matter your immigration status, no matter whom you love, you are welcome in this time and place to be met by God who knows your name, who knows your heart, and desires to be in relationship with you. So let's celebrate this God with one another as we greet those who are on the camera over there. And now with each other, but a little caveat, because the flu is going around, if you need to do some elbows, some, just whatever, do what you got to do, be safe. Let us greet one another.
bright light. Friends, our brother Martin is in jail in Birmingham. He sent a letter and would like me to share portions of it with you. I am cognizant of the interrelatedness of all communities and states. I cannot sit idly by in Atlanta and not be concerned about what happens in Birmingham. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Never again can we afford to live with a narrow, provincial, outside agitator idea. Anyone who lives in the United States can never be considered an outsider. We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. Frankly, I have never yet engaged in a direct action movement that was well-timed, according to the timetable of those who have not suffered unduly from the disease of segregation. For years now, I have heard the word wait. It rings in the ear of every Negro with a piercing familiarity. This wait has almost always meant never. It has been a tranquilizing thalidomide, relieving the emotional stress for a moment, only to give birth to an ill-formed infant of frustration. We must come to see with the distinguished jurist of yesterday that justice too long delayed is justice denied. I had also hoped that the white moderate would reject the myth of time. I received a letter this morning from a white brother in Texas, which said, "All Christians should know that colored people will receive equal rights eventually, but it is possible that you are in too great of a religious hurry. It has taken Christianity over 2,000 years to accomplish what it has. The teachings of Christ take time to come on earth." All that is said here grows out of a tragic misconception of time. It is a strangely irrational notion that there is something in the very flow of time that will inevitably cure all things. Actually, time is neutral. It can be used either destructively or constructively. I am coming to feel that the people of ill will have used time much more effectively than the people of goodwill. We will have to repent in this generation, not merely for the vitriolic words and actions of the bad people, but for the appalling silence of the good people. We must come to see that human progress never rolls in on wheels of inevitability. It comes through the tireless efforts and persistent work of people willing to be co-workers with God. And without this hard work, time itself becomes an ally of the forces of stagnation.
Anybody here see my old friend Abraham? Can you tell me where he's gone? He's free a lot of people, but it seems a good day young. But I just look around and he's gone. Has anybody here seen my old friend John? Can you tell me where he's gone? He's freed a lot of people, but it seems the good they die young. I just look around and he's gone. Is anybody here seen my old friend Martin? Can you tell me where he's gone? He's freed a lot of people, but it seems the good they die young. But I just look around and he's gone. Didn't you love the things that they stood for? Didn't they try to find some good for you and me? And we'll be free someday soon. It's gonna be one. Can anybody here see my old friend Bobby? Can you tell me where he's gone? I thought I saw him walking up over the hill with Abraham and Martin and John.
Good morning, St. Francis. I'm Patricia George, and I'm going to give you an update on some of the recent special collections that occurred at St. Francis. All of these were sponsored by the Seeking Shelter Solutions Ministry, and Seeking Shelters loves to give money away. That's what we do, right? So we not only sponsor Water in the Desert, which alleviates suffering on the streets, but we also collaborate with a lot of nonprofits here in Tucson that actually can transform the lives of unhoused people. So we were blessed in November, December, the Thanksgiving time frame, to sponsor a food drive. You guys probably remember that. And part of that effort included monetary donations that were directed to the hunger ministries. Seeking Shelter also sponsored the wonderful holiday project at the end of the year. That was for the benefit of the Primavera Family Pathways Project. That's an organization that works with families with children that are experiencing homelessness. We also collaborate with a group called the Homing Project. That's the organization in town that's building the tiny home villages for unhoused people. And you may remember that about a year ago, Seeking Shelter Solutions brought a demo of one of those tiny homes to the campus, and people were able to look at that and see what they're doing. Several members of our ministry volunteer there. I work with the group as a grant writer, and Stephanie Robeson is now on the board of directors and recently was appointed their treasurer. So last year, Seeking Shelters submitted a visionary budget request. That was part of a program by the Finance Committee that decided to give away a larger sum of money to honor the memory of Ed Baumer. Well, to get to the point here, I want to give you, the church council approved all these activities, and I want to report to you what the results of those efforts were. So the total monetary donations collected during the food drive was $2,080. And half of that went to the Tucson Food Bank, and the other half went to Ishkashida. If you remember back in November, that was when the SNAP benefits were cut off, you know, and so many people were suffering. We especially wanted to help Ishkashida because the immigrants and refugees have been permanently removed from SNAP and all other government programs by the current administration. So, and the special collections that were made during the Christmas Eve service, that totaled $1,498. And Church Council approved sending that to the Primavera Family Pathways program. So Seeking Shelter was delighted to hear that they would get that amount. $1,498. But that's not the end. So the Finance Committee and the Church Council actually approved the visionary budget request that Seeking Shelter submitted, and that resulted, applause please, $25,000 being granted to the Homing Project in the memory of Ed Baumer. So there's going to be a plaque there, and that will be at Esperanza Village, which is a tiny home community near Fort Lowell and Stone. So St. Francis obviously cares about social issues, and that came up. That was a clear message we got out of the town halls last year, so we know that. But I also have an announcement. It's been my great pleasure to chair Seeking Shelter Solutions the last few years, but I'm now announcing that my roles are changing in 2026. I'm going to step down from that chair position, but I'm leaving the ministry in the very capable hands of Carol Lumberg, who's now she will be the chair of that group. She's been the chair, co-chair since the beginning, but she might be looking for a replacement for me. So if anybody's thinking they'd like to step up to Seeking Shelters, you might want to talk to Carol about that. So this year, what am I going to be doing? I'm stepping into a new role as chair of Church Council. So that's a great honor, and I appreciate being given that opportunity, but I know it's going to be a challenge. And Paula Van Ness is a tough act to follow. So she's been with the church since its inception. Her and Judy Robinson, I think they're two that have been here a really long time. And she very competently has held the church council for the last few years. And I have to tell you, she's already my mentor. I rely on her all the time. And she always responds immediately. I mean, she doesn't even make me wait days. She responds right away and tells me what to do, so when I'm feeling unsure. But, you know, part of the job of this chair of church council is to know and respond to the needs of the whole congregation. So I'm new at this, and I need to hear from you. So I hope you'll feel comfortable talking to me, and I really want to hear about anything, really. I'd like to know what you like about St. Francis. It's always nice to hear what we're doing right, and maybe the things I want to make sure they continue. But you can also tell me about problems as well. I want to hear about those too, so we can search for solutions at Church Council. Okay, so I'll end by saying it's important to give, and it's good for you. There's science behind that. But we don't have time to go into that now. I can really give lectures. But you know what? It feels good to give. And Winston Churchill famously said, "We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. I hope you will continue to give generously to this church, to the programs they sponsor, like Community Connections, which is sponsoring Casa Maria this month, and to continue to give to the Seeking Shelter Ministry so they can continue the work they did next year.
This piece that we're going to do is a piece that I wrote for the choir of St. Francis. So I hope you can meditate to this. You can meditate and dance at the same time.
Good morning, St. Francis. I think we have a lot of talent here. Carol wrote that song, and the prayer today was written by Deborah Kramer, so I hope I can do it justice. Take a slow breath in and let it go. As we settle into this moment, we gently lay down the weight we have been carrying, the worries, the noise, the constant movement of our thoughts. The world around us may feel turbulent and uncertain, yet here, in this stillness, we enter a different kind of space, a sacred space, a space where God is already waiting. In the quiet, notice your breath, steady and faithful. With each breath, imagine God's presence surrounding you like a warm, gentle light. Not loud, not demanding, simply here, simply loving. Let your heart rest. Feel the peace that rises not from the world, but from within the heart of God. This peace does not deny our pain or our fears. Instead, it gathers them tenderly. It holds what feels fragile. It soothes what feels overwhelmed. In God's silence, there is kindness. In God's stillness, there is strength. As you rest in this holy quiet, allow God's love to cradle your spirit. Let the heaviness loosen. Let the worries soften. Let the healing begin, not through effort, but through surrender, through trust, through being held. You don't have to have the answers. You do not have to be strong. You only have to be present.
I am strength to the weary, to the weak I am new life. Though the young grow weary, I will be their home. We will run and not grow weary, for our God will be our strength, and we will fly like the eagle. We will rise. One more time. We will run and not grow weary, for our God will be our strength, and we will fly like the eagle. We will rise
A reading from Luke 10:25-37. An expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. "Teacher," he said, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" He said to him, "What is written in the law? What do you read there?" He answered, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." And he said to him, "You have given the right answer. Do this, and you will live." But wanting to vindicate himself, he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell into the hands of robbers who stripped him, beat him, and took off, leaving him half dead. Now by chance a priest was going down that road, and when he saw, he passed by on the other side." Excuse me. So likewise a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, while traveling, came upon him, and when he saw him, he was moved with compassion. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, treating them with oil and wine. Then he put him on his own animal, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper and said, Take care of him, and when I come back, I will repay you whatever more you spend." Which of these three, do you think, was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robber? He said, "The one who showed..." Uh-oh, it got cut off. The one who showed him, very good, compassion. The one who showed him mercy. Jesus said to him, "Go and do likewise." Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. And if this parable that Stephen read today was to happen today, it might look like this. A man was walking quickly from his car to a meeting. He was wearing a nice jacket and his MAGA Make America Great Again cap. He didn't want to be late, so to save time, he took a shortcut in a not-so-safe neighborhood. While walking, he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his wallet and of his phone. They beat him and left him half dead, with his cap lying next to him. A political activist happened to go by on the way to the No Kings rally, at which she was a prominent speaker. She saw the man and his cap, and she said,
I can't stop. I'm running late. I have to give the opening speech. Someone will take care of him, I'm sure.
So too a businessman, rushing madly by, glanced at the man on the floor and continued speaking intensely into his phone, saying,
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Sell 1,000 shares of the stock. I'll be there and arrange the meeting this afternoon.
But then two undocumented immigrants came to where the man was lying on the ground. One of the two picked up the MAGA hat and said,
No, Jess. We can't help. We're illegal immigrants. He might call immigration. No, we can't do this.
Well, I can't leave him here. That's not right. We can't do that. So I'm helping them. Okay?
So Jess, feeling pity for the man, ripped her shirt and bandaged the bleeding man's head. She also gave him some water to drink and gave him back his MAGA cap. Since the man had no wallet, Jess put the only few dollars she had in the man's pocket and even called his wife for him on his phone. Then she helped him walk to the nearest clinic. She left him in the care of the clinic, promising to check on him in a few hours. And if he was still there, she would check in. She said goodbye to the unbelieving victim.
They threw us for a loop. It was so good. We will make no peace, no peace, no peace with oppression. We will make no peace, no peace. We will make no peace, no peace, no peace with oppression. We will make no peace, no peace. Those who live by the sword shall die by the sword. We will stand against violence of every sort. We will march in the streets, no justice, no peace, arm in arm with our neighbors till we all stand free. Oh, loving God, help us not to be afraid. Oh, loving God, give us your strength. We will make no peace, no peace, no peace with oppression. We will make no peace, no peace. We will make no peace, no peace, no peace with oppression. We will make no peace, no peace. We will make no peace, no peace, no peace with oppression. We'll make no peace, no peace. We will make no peace, no peace, no peace with oppression. We will make no peace, no peace. We won't turn away from the pain of our brothers, cries of our sisters, grieving of our mothers. We won't turn away from destructive politicians, overflowing prison, corruption in our system. Oh, loving God, help us not to be afraid. Oh, loving God, give us your strength. Oh, loving God, help us not to be afraid. Oh, loving God, give us your strength.
Wow, I love all the talent that we've gotten to experience this morning. Can we just give thanks to everyone who's participated, whether our sound tech, folks, people who greeted us. Thank you, thank you. One of the things that I love about St. Francis is their justice and their mercy and compassion ministries. And I just want to remind you that it was mentioned briefly that this month we're helping Casa Maria by donating and collecting women's socks and canned food. And Paula, is that it? Anything else? Men's socks, children's socks. Men's socks, everybody's socks. Socks for everybody. Friend, I want to tell you a story. Once there was someone who said such amazing things and did such wonderful things that people began to follow this person. As they followed this person, they heard this person talk about a kingdom. They'd never been to this kingdom before, and they wanted to know more, so they just had to follow more. And then one person from the crowd just finally said, "Hey, what's most important?" And this person said, "You already know. And it's to love your God with all your heart, all your soul, your mind, your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself." But then that person who asked the question said, "But who is my neighbor?" Who is my neighbor? Fast forward roughly 2,000 years, not as early as 2026 with what we just heard. There was a young family who was traveling from the religious school that they were attending, and it was a hot summer day, mid-August. And the 5 children in this family got into the station wagon, and back then, in these early 80s, they didn't have air conditioning, but that was okay, because guess what we had? Windows, yes. So this family was traveling from out of town, or from the religious school, to the family farm where they live, which just was lost because of the bankruptcy that the farm went under and the family went through. They still lived there, but it was a ways out of town. And as the mother was driving these 5 kids going, I don't know, all crazy because this family didn't have the sense to know that seatbelts were for a good reason, all of a sudden, there was this big sound, and it was one of the tires blew out. the mother had nurtured that tire at the local co-op, hoping to be able to get this tire to work. And it had its last drive, I guess you could say. It was about 1:30 in the afternoon, and the mom had enough sense to say, okay, everyone, we gotta just sit tight for a while because Dad is looking for a job, and we don't know if he'll know that we're stranded. Now, the road that they were on was not traveled by many, so there wasn't much hope of when they were going to be able to be rescued. And it was hot. Well, about an hour after this incident happened, there was a vehicle coming towards them, and the mom recognized who that was. It was the pastor of that religious school. And the mom said, hey, start putting your hands out the window, and let's see if we can track them down. And would you believe that pastor, as they got closer and closer, and finally they got close enough, waved at the family, but just kept on going. Those kids were frustrated. The mom was scared because it was really hot. About another hour later, there was another person coming towards them, and this time they recognized it was the pastor of the church that this family attended every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every Wednesday night, and God helped them when they had to go to revival services. Remember those? Ooh. Yeah. The mom said, okay, just wave. We'll see if the pastor will recognize. They did that, and the pastor drove, and guess what the pastor did? Yeah, waved and went on. About 2 more hours later, so this was about 4:30, 5 o'clock, the kids were asleep. It was hot. Everybody was wet. They had their uniforms on from school, and they were drenched in sweat. It was red, white, and blue. Unbeknownst to them, it was a white Christian national school. But the parents were trying to do their darnest to do what they thought was best, what was right. They didn't know any better. Then all of a sudden, the mom sees in the rearview mirror from the other direction what do you call it? It's a VW bus. Make sense? They were traveling. Mom didn't even bother because God only knows what comes out of a VW bus, right? Traveling, and then past the car, and then all of a sudden, a screech came when they slammed on the brakes. The mom perked up, and the van backed up. The mom said to the kids, wake up, guys, but lock your doors and roll up your windows. They got close to the car, and people started coming out. And there was this kind of smoke that was coming out as well. And they just kept coming out of this van, this VW bus. They just kept coming out. And eventually, one of the persons, didn't know if it was a man or a woman, they all had long hair, came over to the mom and knocked on the window and said, hey, ma'am, are you okay? Mom, big-eyed, said, yes, we're just waiting for my husband to come rescue us. And can you roll down your window so I can hear you? And the mom rolled it down a little bit. And the aroma of what the children described was the skunk smell that was so horrific that person said, ma'am, where do you live? We'll just take you there. And the mom said, here, take my oldest. And the oldest said, no, I don't want to go. Go. So then they all got up in the car, and the mom asked, where are you all going anyway? Why did you stop? And they said, well, we're going to a concert. Have you ever heard of Grateful Dead? Of course, my mom knew nothing of Grateful Dead and was like, oh dear. And that mom prayed and prayed and prayed. About 30 minutes later, the father came from this direction because they had dropped off the son, let the dad know that this family needed help. You probably have guessed that story is about my family. I grew up in that white Christian nationalistic home. Fortunately, we've all been in rehabilitation and recovery. I'm still thankful for my therapist. My therapist, every time I change and move, they say, why are you still in the church? I think it's because of people like the Deadheads who stopped. They stopped when they saw us, and even though we looked like American flags in our uniforms, they said, hey, we want to help you. They were willing to cross a boundary, but they may have been too stoned to know who we were. I don't know. But that's irrelevant because they stopped and cared. They crossed a boundary and said, we want to help you. I have never forgotten that moment. And I've never forgotten that smell. Man, I wish it smelled better than that. Anyway, so today I wonder, where have you experienced boundaries that have been crossed when you've been the recipient, or how have you received love across a boundary? And then the other question is, how have you given love across boundaries, or something like that? We have people who have mics, and if you want to share, this is now on you because this service now depends all on you how long you take to do this. So I'm just telling you. How have boundaries been crossed with love with you?
Is it on? It is on. Good morning, everybody. So a few weeks back, you all heard me talk about how paralyzing the situation is for me. Being an immigrant, yes, I'm a citizen, but long story short, I'm very paranoid these days. I won't let it paralyze me, but I'm paranoid. I have a large extended family in Arizona. My brother, my sister-in-law, you know Latinos. There's like 20 of them, or 20 of us. I have one niece out of all of them that is very much politically not aligned with the rest of the family. And they're not treating her very nice. They're calling her names, they're not talking to her. And then she calls me. This is my oldest niece. I changed her diapers. I don't agree with what she says, but I sit there and I listen. We had a fairly good hour and a half blowout last week. And it wasn't a blowout bad. It was just, a discussion. And she actually got quiet and listened to my concerns, and I got quiet and listened to her point of view. And after I was done, it was very freeing. We have friends that we don't talk politics to because it'll just ruin a very long friendship. But when it came down to my niece, I felt that I could where nobody else felt that they could. That was a big boundary for me to cross because I'm not one for that kind of thing. So I saw her the next day and she gave me a big hug. I gave her a big hug back, asked me for the blessings. That's a Venezuelan culture. Bendición, Dios te bendiga. And so it was powerful for me at that point to be able to. And then I felt so much lighter because I never really talked to her about these things, but I felt so much better the next day. So that was my crossing borders.
when my wife passed away, I got quite a few condolence cards. I got one that I didn't recognize the last name on it. I opened it up. I realized it was someone on my same street. It came from a couple down the street, and the fella wore a red hat. He was on the other side of everything, I thought. I would walk over to our local cafe and pass right by their home. But as I got to the home, I would turn towards the cafe. Coming back, when I was at their home, I'd turn away from it, going back to my home. This one day, I thought I should really thank them for the card. Terry, came to the door, opened the door with his hand out, and said, I know we're on the other side of a lot of issues, but I really want to be your friend. And you know, from now on, I can't look at him as other than, well, a little bit more to the story. He had lost a son earlier in the year. I did not know about it. So now when I look at him, I don't see somebody on the other side of issues. I see somebody in the community.
Thank you.
I have a story about each of those questions. When I was young, okay, and my younger son was 2. Yeah, my younger son was 2, so my older son was 6. And I had no money, and I had been pretty sick, and we were living in a school bus up in the mountains that some friends had loaned us to live in. And there was basically no, there was electricity, actually. I don't know how we got electricity, but we had a little wood stove and all this, and no money. And these people stopped by who I sort of vaguely recognized, but didn't really know. And they stopped by our bus, which was way out in the middle of nowhere. And I guess I offered them tea or something. Anyway, the next day when I woke up, there was a $50 bill on my table they had left. And these folks were, I think, drug dealers. But anyway, that $50 really saved us for that moment. So that was, receiving something. And then where I live now, I have to confess that my house is pretty degradé, my yard is pretty degradé. My neighbors next door had been pretty unhappy with me over a number of years. Had reported my yard, all kinds of tensions there. And then, real tensions, real neighborly tensions. One day I was out putting out my garbage, and one of the gentlemen ran up on the curb and almost hit me. Now, I know it wasn't intentional, but my first thought was, is he okay? And I ran over to him and asked, are you okay? And he was obviously shaken. I never had any trouble from them after that. So, we still don't get along. We still don't talk, but they've quit. Actually, that gentleman died shortly after, but we have quit our active anger towards each other. So.
Thank you. Let's do one more. I think there was, over here, one more.
I was on a mountain road south of Prescott, Arizona here, and it was a very curvy mountain road. And It was at night, and I was driving down the road because I lived south of there, and I saw some lights ahead, and I saw some people pulled over, and they had and they were next to a car that had flipped over, that literally flipped over. Fortunately, towards the mountain rather than towards the other side, rather than towards the open space. He was, and there was a guy that had just gotten out, and he was all stunned. And here's the cool thing: I stopped and I of course checked, but so did everybody who drove by. For the next 30 minutes, everybody who drove by checked to make sure the guy was okay. And we're talking about the people, in their Jaguars who were probably from Scottsdale going home for they're stopping and asking. Everybody was stopping and asking if the guy was okay. Turns out he was texting and driving on a mountain road at night, which is probably, in his mom's car, probably not the brightest thing. He goes, "Oh my God, can we try to push the car over? Because my mom's going to kill me." And it's like, well, But you know what? All of us who were there, we tried to push the car. Well, we couldn't actually, but we tried to push the car over. But the point is, everybody stopped. So in that day, on that night, everybody was a good Samaritan.
Wow, good. Father Greg Boyd out of LA, who does rehabilitation with gang members who want to become gang members, with this theory called see the goodness in everyone. See the goodness. May we be a people who see the goodness in one another, and as we see them, may we cross that boundary, knowing that we don't cross this boundary alone, but the Spirit of God is working within us to be love, and in some cases, receive love, so that we can work together to be all that God has created us to be. Amen.
Please stand and sing with us. Awake from your slumber, arise from your sleep. A new day is dawning for all those who grieve. The people in darkness have seen a great light. The God of our longing has conquered the night. Let us build the city of God. May our hearts be turned into blessing. For our God, our life and our love has turned the night into day.
So friends, let us be the Good Samaritan. Let us be the recipient of the Good Samaritan and cross those boundaries knowing that we don't do this alone, but we do it with the Spirit of this divine light that comes to us and through us. And the best part is that we do it together. Amen.
We are sons of the morning. We are daughters of day. The one who has loved us